Nested virtualization is the ability to install the Hyper-V role on a guest virtual machine. Now, you can forget the word guest, it's just a virtual machine. To do that, I need the Hyper-V host, so the physical server, the virtual machine that you want to install Hyper-V on. They both have to be Windows Server 2016. Now, you can also do this in Windows 10. In that case, it would have to be at least Windows 10. So no client OS older than Windows 10, no server OS older than Windows Server 2016. You must have a sufficient amount of RAM. Now, we can't really say what that is because it depends on what your virtual machines are actually doing, but 4 gigs at a minimum is enough just to get the virtual machine started, but it's recommended you have 8. So 4 at a minimum, 8 or greater recommended. Now, the way this process works, I have my physical host, so that can run 2016 or 2019. So I'm going to say 2019, or again, like Windows 10 for the client OS. You then create a virtual machine. The virtual machine has to run 2016 or 2019, or it could be Windows 10, the client OS. That's possible. Once you create this virtual machine, you log into it and you install Hyper-V, that role, on your virtual machine. Exactly the same way you install it on the host, you install it on your virtual machine. Now that you've done that, you then, in that Hyper-V, you will actually create a virtual machine. So now this would be your nested VM. So it really is nothing more than running Hyper-V on a virtual machine and creating another virtual machine inside of it. The common question that comes up is, why would I ever choose to do this? The short answer is very rarely would you choose to do this. Now, one place you may see this, about the only common place. If I am a large provider of services, I may have a host with, terabytes of RAM. So I have a large host, we'll call it. I can create a virtual machine on the host, and I can give you access to this virtual machine, meaning you remote desktop into that virtual machine, and that's all you see. But from that virtual machine, you could install any role, any feature you want, including creating other virtual machines. But from my point of view, I only have to grant you access to this guest virtual machine here. You don't have access to the host or anything like that. I can determine how many resources are available here. So let's say I give this 64 gigs of RAM, 8 virtual CPUs. Now, those resources can be divided amongst the virtual machines that you actually choose to nest. But not a very common solution. We just want to know that it is a possible solution. Now, by default, this is not enabled. If you want to do this, you have to enable it through PowerShell. So what you have to do, your guest virtual machine you have here has to be powered off. From the host, you're going to run this command. Set VM processor -VM name, whatever you name this VM. So if it's like RTS SVR1, that's what you would type it. Whatever you named the VM when you created the VM. -expose virtualization extensions $true. What this does is, from the host point of view, it enables pass-through of your processor's virtual extensions, whether that's Intel or if it's AMD. It enables those virtual extensions to be exposed to this guest virtual machine. That allows you to install Hyper-V. If you don't run that command and you try to install Hyper-V, the install will actually just keep failing, and it'll tell you that your virtualization extensions are not supported. So you just have to run that command.